Good morning children, welcome to AIMS India's online classes. This is biology session. You are watching anatomy of flowering plants. What is anatomy, children? So, anatomy is the study of internal characteristic features of living organisms. Okay, it is a branch of biology which deals with the study of internal characteristic features of living organisms. So, here anatomy in sense the anatomy of flowering plants, we are going to discuss about the internal structure of the flowering plants. You know very well, a plant is made up of different kinds of tissues, and these tissues mainly classified into two groups which you have studied in your regular, that is the meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Okay. Then what is the tissue? The tissue is made up of cells with indefinite dividing capacity. Okay. A tissue is nothing but a group of cells which are similar in origin and similar in function. It is called a tissue. Tissues combine to form the organs, organs combine to form the organ systems. In plants, what are the organ systems we find? Root system and shoot system. The total plant body is divided into two main systems. The part which is beneath the ground, below the ground, it is called root system. Above the ground, it is called as a shoot system. Okay, in the morphology means the study of external characteristic features of living organisms is called morphology. In plant morphology, you have studied the different parts of plants and their functions. But in this particular lesson, anatomy of flowering plants, we are going to discuss about the internal organization of the plant and how different tissues are arranged, what are their functions, etc. we are going to discuss. Okay, are you ready, children? Let us proceed. A cell is capable of independent existence and can carry out all the functions which are necessary for a living organism. That is why cell is called the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. It may be a plant or it may be animal. Okay. So, here anatomy is also called internal morphology, okay, internal structures, study of internal structures. So, we begin the lesson with a cell. So, a cell carries out nutrition, respiration, excretion, transportation and reproduction. The way an individual organism does, the cell also carries its all functions. So, in unicellular organisms, these cells are capable of independent existence, which shows a cell's capability to exist independently. Okay. Due to this, a cell is called fundamental and structural unit of life. What is a cell? A cell is a fundamental and structural unit of life. All living beings are composed of the basic units of life. What do you call it? A cell. Okay. Cells organized to form the tissues. So, these cells, of course, unicellular organisms are exempted, but in multicellular organisms, cells organized to form tissues. Cells combine to form tissues. So, the new cells, so you have studied, we come across cell theory. According to cell theory, all living organisms are made up of cells and their products. Okay. Next, all plants are made up of cells, all animals are made up of cells. Okay. All the functions carried out in a living organism are carried out in the cell. So, these cells organized to form the tissues. How? The new cells formed after cell division normally enlarge and become specialized for performing a particular function, that is called cell differentiation. Okay? First cell will grow, then cell divides, then these cells are organized or determined to perform the specific function. For example, the cells which are present in the roots will perform the functions of root. The cells which are present in the stem, they perform the function of the stem, and the cells which are present in the leaf, they perform photosynthesis. Okay, children. So, they are specific, they are organized to perform the specific function. So, multicellular organisms consist of many groups of specialized cells making up their tissues and organs. Okay? In unicellular organisms, there is no cell differentiation because only a single cell is present, but in multicellular organisms we find there is a cell division as well as cell differentiation. Okay? The cells are differentiated to form the tissues. A group of cells similar in structure, having a common origin and performing similar functions is called a tissue. What is a tissue? A group of cells similar in structure, having a common origin and performing similar functions. It is called a tissue. The several tissues, they are organized to form an organ, and several organs organized to form organ system, and finally organized to form organism. Okay? So, cells divide and form tissues, tissues combine and form organs, organs combine to form organ system, organ systems combine to form the organism. Okay, children? So, that is the organization in living beings. Okay, here in plants, especially if you take the plant tissues are classified into two types. Okay, in plants also the cells are organized to form the tissues. So, the tissues present in the plants are classified into two main types. What are they? Meristematic tissue and a permanent tissue. What is a meristematic tissue? Growth in plants is restricted to specific regions with active cell division. So, those specific regions are called meristems. Okay? The growing parts of the plant are called meristems. The tissue made up of cells with indefinite dividing capacity are called meristems or meristematic tissues. Okay? So, let us study about these meristems and meristematic tissues and types of meristems. There are different types of meristems. They can be classified on the basis of position in the plant body. So, what are they? Apical meristems, intercalary meristems, lateral meristems. Okay, the total meristems, if you take this is a plant stem, we find apical meristem, intercalary meristem, lateral meristem. Then what is apical meristem and what is its function? Where does it locate? Okay. Apical meristem occurs in the tip of the root and shoot. the growing regions of the root and shoot below the growing tip. Which type of meristem is present? Apical meristem. These are primary meristem, helps in increase in the length of the plant. Okay. They are present at the tip of the stem and root, and their branches, they lead to growth in length. Apical meristem lead to growth in length. Then intercalary meristem. The intercalary meristems are present in between the mature tissues. These are also primary meristem, occurs in grasses and regenerate parts removed by grazing animals. Okay. They are derived from the apical meristems. Actually, intercalary meristems derived from the apical meristems. These help in elongation. They help in the elongation. Help in elongation of the organs and are commonly found at the bases of leaves and above. Example, grasses or below the nodes. Below the nodes they are present. Example, mint you can take. Okay. So, what is the function of intercalary meristem? Intercalary meristem help in the elongation of the organs, elongation of the organ, whereas apical meristem help in the growth in lengthwise. The next, lateral meristem. What are lateral meristems? Lateral meristem occurs in the mature regions of the roots and stem, whereas intercalary in between the mature tissues, but whereas lateral meristem, they are located or occurs in the mature regions of the roots and shoots. They are also known as secondary meristems. So, whereas intercalary meristem and apical meristem, they are primary meristem, but lateral meristem is a secondary meristem. It is responsible for the producing secondary tissues. It is responsible for the production of secondary tissues. Example of these lateral meristems, where does they occur? Fascicular or vesicular cambium, interfascicular cambium and cork cambium are the examples of lateral meristems. Okay. What are lateral meristems? They occur on the sides and take part in increasing girth of the plant. What is girth? Nothing but secondary growth. The common examples are fascicular, vesicular cambium or primary. They are actually fascicular, vascular cambium, they are primary meristems. Okay, but interfascicular cambium and cork cambium. Cork cambium is also called phyllogen. It is also called a phyllogen. Okay. So, what is the function of lateral meristem, children? Increase the girth. Increase the girth of the plant, means helps in the secondary growth. Okay, that is why lateral meristems are present in the matured parts of the plant. It may be the root or shoot. Next, on the basis of the origin, meristems may be primary. Primary means the origin from embryonic cells, or secondary. Secondary means originated by differentiation of permanent tissues. Okay, apical, intercalary and fascicular meristems are the primary meristems. Why? Because they originate from the embryonic meristems or promeristems, they are also called. And these primary meristems, they retain the meristematic nature throughout the plant life. Vesicular cambium, interfascicular cambium and cork cambium, these are secondary meristems. Okay, why? They originate as a new meristems. They originate as a new meristems from the permanent tissues which have already undergone the differentiation. Okay. Now come to the next, axillary bud. What is axillary bud? During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, some cells left behind from shoot apical meristem. They constitute the axillary bud. They are present in the axils of the leaf, the buds which are present in the axils of the leaves and are capable of forming a branch or a flower. It is called a axillary bud. Okay. Next, come to the permanent tissues. So, in plants the tissues are classified into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. We have studied about the meristematic tissue. Now, permanent tissue. What is the permanent tissue? The permanent tissues are those tissues which have lost the power of cell division, means opposite to meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue means the tissue with actively dividing cells, but whereas permanent tissue, it possesses the cells which lost the power of cell division. Okay. So, the cells produced from primary or secondary meristems stop dividing and differentiated structurally and functionally. They are termed as permanent cells or permanent tissues. A group of permanent cells constitute the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues having similar in structure and function, and they are called simple tissues. Again, these permanent tissues are again divided into two types: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. What are simple permanent tissues? The permanent tissues having similar in structure and function, they are called simple permanent tissues. They are made up of only one type of cells. Okay. The next, complex permanent tissues. What are complex permanent tissues? Complex permanent tissues are the tissues with more than one type of cells working as a unit. Okay. Such tissues are called complex permanent tissues. Okay. The permanent tissue having many different types of cells are called complex permanent tissues. Okay, children. The permanent tissues in the plants classified into two. What are they? Simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue made up of different types of cells, whereas complex permanent tissue made up of different types of cells. Simple permanent tissue made up of only one type of cells. Okay, the name itself is indicating simple, then the name itself is indicating complex. Okay. A simple permanent tissue is made up of similar permanent cells that carry out the same function or similar set of functions. Simple permanent tissues are of three types, again we are going to discuss. Okay, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Whereas complex permanent tissues, they are made up of more than one type of cells working as a unit, and these complex permanent tissues again divided into two, xylem and phloem. Okay. So, let us proceed. First, simple permanent tissue, parenchyma. Parenchyma is a simple permanent tissue. It consists of thin walled living cells which can have intercellular spaces. There are intercellular spaces, you can see in the parenchyma tissue, you can see the vast intercellular spaces, and between the cells or their cell walls, especially their cell walls made up of cellulose and calcium pectate, cellulose and calcium pectate. It is a simple fundamental tissue in plants, we can say. Parenchyma is a fundamental tissue in the plants because it serves the functions of food storage, absorption, lateral conduction, photosynthesis, and it also providing buoyancy in hydrophytes, parenchyma. Okay, it also involves in the secretion. So, that is why almost all parts of the plant this parenchyma is present. It is a living tissue. Okay. So, once again It is a fundamental and simple tissue in plants. Which one? Parenchyma. Almost all primary structures like leaves, flowers and young stems are made up of parenchyma. And the cells in parenchyma are living cells. They can be either round or square shape or polyhedral, okay, different shapes. These are different types. There are different types of parenchyma depending upon the function. Parenchymatous cells are of different types. Chlorenchyma, okay, the cells, the parenchyma cells which have chloroplasts, okay, they are called chlorenchyma. Where does they occur? They occur commonly seen in the leaves, green parts of the plant. What function they perform? Photosynthesis, okay. The palisade parenchyma, we can call it as the tissue which is present inside the leaf, palisade parenchyma, which is containing large number of chloroplasts and involved in the photosynthesis function, okay. Next type of parenchyma tissue is aerenchyma, okay. As I told you, they help in buoyancy. Air spaces are present between the cells in this type of parenchyma. So, you can see this is the aerenchyma. Intercellular spaces are present, they are filled with air, okay. This type of parenchyma is seen in the plants which float on water, hydrophytes, water plants, okay. Pistia is an example. Storage tissue or storage parenchyma. The storage parenchyma, the cells in this type of parenchyma store the food materials. So, they are again further divided into different types, okay. That is water storage parenchyma, food storage parenchyma, okay, like that. This type of parenchyma is seen in the tubers and rhizomes, food storage parenchyma. For example, potato, starch is stored, okay. Rhizomes, rhizomes means you can take ginger, turmeric, okay. So, this is the storage parenchyma tissue. Water storage parenchyma. Water storage parenchyma tissue is present in the desert plants like Opuntia, cactus. The cells in this type of parenchyma, water storage parenchyma, store water. Such cells are seen in the desert plants, okay. Whatever may be the type of parenchyma, it may be aerenchyma, storage parenchyma or water storage parenchyma. The cells shows large intercellular spaces, okay. These intercellular spaces may be filled with different substances in different types of parenchyma, okay. So, this parenchyma tissue, okay, only one type of simple tissue we have completed. Next we are going to have in the next class, okay. I hope you understood. Read the book. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.